Bruce, it's
How you
so
doing,
great to
Andre?
see you. It's great
Good
to
to
see
see
you.
you. How are
Great to see
you?
you. LA, New York. LA, New York. So
Exactly.
there he is. Yeah. So here's the thing. So I've known Bruce for many, many years, and we're colleagues, we're great friends. And, I thought, and Bruce thought that we could get together and kind of talk about what's going on now since, it's a rough time for people, for our practices, for our patients, for the world. And I just thought it would be good for us to just share some ideas. And I think what I like to do here is hey, Bruce, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. And then, when you're exhausted and you can't take anymore, then you get right back at me. How's that sound?
Sounds good, Andre.
Good.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm ready to go.
You're ready to go. Okay. So, I think we're both hunkered down here. So my question to you is, hey, what's your feeling about your personal feeling about the situation, and how has it changed you as a person, in terms of the way your outlook is on things, if any, if any.
Well, I think we all are here isolated and quarantined for over 5 weeks now. I think it is. So you obviously have a lot of time for self-reflection, to think about what's important in the world and what's important in your own life. So obviously, family is, really takes center stage, and we're obviously concerned about our family, or my children, my spouse, obviously my wife, and our friends. But also, we're concerned about our patients too, how they're dealing in this environment. I've tried to actually keep in touch with our patients, just calling them, say hi, how you doing. We do Zoom cocktail parties with my family once a week, my brothers and nieces and nephews, and also with friends. I think, even though we're sheltering alone and apart, we have to stay connected. So I think that's really important. And the relationships are really what are the cornerstones of our lives, basically, Andre.
Yeah, that's so true. It rings a bell, and very, very much the way I feel. But tell me, when you're talking to your patients, what sense are you getting from them as to what's going on in their lives, and how are you kind of working when you're with them in kind of discussing the situation?
Well, everyone is really, I think, at their wits' end at this point. Being at home, not being able to work. Some of us are working from home, but it's very, I think, lonesome for a lot of people. A lot of people are feeling very disconnected, particularly in New York City, where everyone has always been this hustle bustle, and you're always in contact with people. There's always a buzz around the city. You walk out today, and it's like a ghost town. You walk down Fifth Avenue and you can throw a bowling ball down and not hit anyone. That's how quiet the city is. Um, but our patients, I think, they're at the point where, you've been home for a long time, and people they can't go to the salon. So women particularly, they're getting grayer. The roots are showing. Men's hair are growing long and looking very shaggy. So I think people are really ready to, come back and get, some self-love and some, treatment to make them feel better.
People want to create more deceit, and they're deprived of deceit creation. So I get it, and I think I could use a little bit of a trim myself here, but
Right. Well, how do you find it in Beverly Hills, where you are? What's the scenario there? I know you guys obviously hunkered down before we did in New York. Your governor was clearly very, he had a crystal ball somehow, Andre, and got you guys locked down much more quickly. So you've had a lot less of the virus, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing is, no matter how hard you try, for me, it's a hard thing to get used to. It feels like, another Groundhog Day to me. It's almost like over and over again. And I keep wishing I'm going to get up in the morning and, it's going to be different, but it's not. So, I'm just trying to keep busy. And, honestly, I've never had so much free time on my hands. It's driving me crazy. I mean, it's like I really have to try hard to fill my day. Whereas before, I'd be in the office, I'd be seeing patients all day, I'd be doing surgeries, I'd be making calls, I'd be going to the gym. Spending time with my family. My days are packed right now. It's like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do now? It's crazy.
Right.
But
Exactly.
so what I am doing now is basically trying to cope. And how am I doing that? Well, I think the main thing I'm trying to do right now is have a routine.
Right. Yeah.
If I don't have a routine, I'm like floundering. So I do my get up every morning, take a shower, have my coffee, and I do those kinds of things. But then I have
Still have my coffee.
Yeah, well, I had mine, so I'm good. But so my daily routine is, so I'm doing a lot of calls to patients. I'm doing check-in calls, I'll call them. So you're very much into caring for your patients. I mean, you're one of the most wonderful physicians I know. You're an amazing dermatologist and cosmetic dermatologist. You're terrific, and I know you have a great deal of empathy for your patients. So that's why I know you can relate. I feel like I got to check in with them. So we're doing a lot of telemedicine, which is, I think, the wave of the future. And I'm actually trying to, as we're going through this, re-engineer my practice to do more and more of that. I see how valuable it is. I see how just connecting with people, it doesn't take long, just a short conversation, it's like a millimeter is like a mile. It's amazing. People really react positive. So I'm doing that, and we're doing what we call the virtual consultations, where I can't see the patients in the office. They've locked us down. So the best we can do is I do virtuals. And it's kind of fun. So I'm filling a lot of my days with that. And then the rest, prescription refills, laboratory test ordering, reviewing, and then, calling patients. So that's kind of my professional day. And then my other day is, there's a difference between California and New York in the sense that, here, we can go for walks and it's all green and lovely. I guess you can go to Central Park, right?
Yeah, that's what we've been doing.
That's a great idea. So I've been going for long walks, trying to get in my, 15, 20,000 steps a day. So I take 2 long walks, one with Tracy and our dog, Luki, and that's usually earlier in the day. And then later in the day, I'll take a walk with some of the guys, all the time social distancing, wearing masks, 6 feet apart, and we're having conversation, and we're taking some nice long walks. So that's a lot of what I do. But the one thing I'm doing is I got back into cooking. I mean, believe it or not, this is like the craziest thing. When I got married, I went into cooking retirement. Now, I went to cooking school when I was a senior resident. I don't know if I ever told you this one, but when I was a senior resident, I went to cooking school. Back in Montreal. This is with the Galloping Gourmet of Canada chef. It was a great course. I went with a buddy of mine who was a GYN senior resident. I was an internal medicine senior resident at that time, McGill. And we took this cooking class, only 2 guys in the class. All the other, students were, gorgeous ladies. Maybe that's why I liked the class. In any case, And I started learning how to cook, and I enjoyed it. And then when I got married, many years later, I sent Tracy to cooking school. I said, why don't you go to cooking school? Because I like to go into retirement. And I've been in retirement until now. And suddenly I just said, you know what? I got time on my hands. Let me start doing
Got your second career again.
I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. It relaxes me. Okay. I get so relaxed and distracts me. And, I realized, with cooking, there's a science and an art. So it's kind of like cosmetic surgery in a way, or whatever it is. It's kind of fun. So anyway, that's my new thing. How about you? How are you spending your days?
Well, the problem with this whole isolation thing and the gyms being closed, you're right, it's hard to get exercise. And I think, exercise is a great stress reliever, which, when we were practicing, it's very busy and, we're doing cosmetic procedures all day. So that can be stressful, working on people's faces. And I always found that exercise was a great sort of vent to relax and any anxiety and also obviously for the physical benefits as well. So when our gyms closed, I said, what am I going to do? So I went on Amazon and I bought an elliptical machine. It took me 5 hours to put this bloody thing together. As you can see, it's right over there.
Looks like a work of art to me.
And it does look like a work of art.
I didn't think it was elliptical. I thought it was some modern, contemporary.
No, it's actually a real elliptical machine. It measures heart rate and everything. And it actually works, Andre. That's the best part about it. Didn't fall apart. I didn't have any nuts or bolts or washes left over. So I know I got it all right, but it took a long time to put together. So, if I decide to retire from dermatology and cosmetic surgery at some point, I know my future can be in carpentry,
Oh, great. A cook and a carpenter. That's fantastic. I love it.
Right. So that could be my second career.
Well, don't worry because when that time comes, I've lined up a whole lot of projects for you over here. So no worries. You'll be busy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that'll definitely be worth making a trip to see you and Tracy for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. So tell me about how you think this is going to change your world as far as, future, your practice, and, how are you going to make some adjustments? Obviously there's going to be a new normal. What do you think that is for you and your practice and your life in general?
Well, I think it depends how quickly things come back in terms of patients returning for treatments. Certainly, we're going to have to be very careful. Right now we check people's temperature. We're open for essential visits only, and we do virtual, appointments six days a week from 8 in the morning till 6 at night. So, we do a lot of those as like you do. But when we start opening the practice again for, aesthetic surgery, cosmetic surgery, we're gonna have to be very careful about keeping social distancing. Obviously we're very careful about cleaning down, the instruments and tables and counters and even doorknobs. So all of those things will have to be considered. I mean, fortunately we have a large waiting room, so we will be able to sort of space people apart pretty easily. We have 12 exam rooms, so that shouldn't be a big problem. But, I think it all depends on how quickly we do the test, get the testing, so we can determine who has been exposed, if there are issues there, who have the antibodies, so you don't have to worry. There are still a lot of unanswered questions there, Andre. How about you? How are you preparing? What are you considering in terms of reopening?
I don't know when we're going to open up. I think my crystal ball isn't working on that one. But what I do know is at some point we will. It's crazy, but I have, kind of, because I'm an optimist, I figured, okay, well, by middle May, they'll at least allow us to do elective procedures. Okay, so I started scheduling patients out, surgeries and all kinds of stuff, knowing that I'm probably going to have to, call them all up and push it out and reschedule them. It's a bit of work to do that, but you know, there's a demand. I mean, I can't tell you, I've got a list like this of people who want stuff. They want procedures, they want, you know, cosmetic surgeries. I mean, it's crazy, and you feel bad because, you know, your hands are tied. I'm sure you feel exactly the same way.
Sure.
But so what I'm doing is I'm trying to plan ahead, and for me, I've decided, you know, my safety is very important, because if I get sick, you know, I can't help anybody, you know, and
Absolutely.
my family
Yeah.
will be devastated. Not about me, but I hate to do that to my patients and my family. So I got to protect myself. I also have to protect my staff, because, you know, God forbid they get sick. And then I have to protect every single patient. So how am I going to do that? That's the dilemma. Now, I don't have a large waiting room. I have a smaller waiting room. I have a little more of a boutique kind of Beverly Hills practice. That is, so I can't really fill my waiting room with social distancing. Maybe I can have 3 patients in the waiting room at a time, max, okay? And I want to be able to minimize the risk. So testing, you hit it, you said it. Testing is the key. By the way, I love your governor, Governor Como.
Yeah.
You know,
He's been great.
he's amazing. I watch him and listen to him. Now, he's a real leader. He's really good. And you know what I like about him? You should be very proud of him. He's not, he sticks to facts. He sticks to information. He sticks to data. And he organizes and he leads. God, do we need more people like him? I mean,
No,
that's,
you're absolutely right, Andre.
thank
Yeah.
God. Thank God for him in New York. That really, I think that's great. So testing is the key. And I would like to be in a position to test people, you know, get one of those effective and good tests where there's a low incidence of false positives and or false negatives. That's a quick test, 5 minutes. If we can get that, you know, honestly, I would test patients as they come in the office. Sit there, let me do a test. If you're negative, great. We'll be happy to take care of you, okay? Plus, you know, of course, question them on symptoms, taking their temperature, of course, and still maintaining, you know, precautions, masks whenever possible, gloves, social distancing, just like you said. I mean, I'm basically following everything you've said. I'm trying to operationalize that in my mind and get it down on in some kind of a standard operating procedure, you know, to implement when the time comes in advance. Also, you know, I don't know about your office, but you know, there's a challenge now in getting the PPE. You know, so I've got to make sure that we have enough PPE for not just us, but for the patients as they come in. Masks,
Right.
gloves. In the case of my staff, probably shields. When we're working close to patients, like we're getting in there, maybe we're going to do an injection or we're going to do an examination. You know, so I want to make sure we get all those things lined up as well. So that's what my plan is when they say you're good to go and you can start bringing patients in the office.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right, Andre. Those are all the issues we have to deal with. And, you know, I think, you know, we'll be able to manage those quite well. But you're right about the testing. And hopefully we'll have these instant tests where you can just check someone right away and have the results within 5 minutes, which will be optimal. But, you know, I think we still have to treat everyone as if they have the possible virus. So it's going to be a challenge, put it that way. It's going to be a challenge.
Well, we're going to hang in there, and
Mhm.
we're going to be safe. We're going to be strong. We're going to try and stay healthy for ourselves, our patients, our families, for other people.
Exactly.
Best we can do. I miss you. I'm so glad we can connect at least this way. You know, we were supposed to get together a number of times at various meetings that we have met at
Right.
around the world, and it's always it's something I just look forward to. Not
You
so
too.
much meeting, but it's seeing you, my other friends. It's like an important part of life, and God, do I miss that. So I bet you do too. And we have so much fun. So I'm looking forward to a time when we can do that again. Hopefully it won't be too
Same
long.
here.
But in the meantime,
We hope so.
let's keep the
Mhm.
conversation going. This is like the first one. Maybe we'll turn it into a bit of a series, and maybe next time we'll get more into some of the medical stuff. We can share some ideas or experiences or thoughts on various things. That might be fun too. So, Bruce, I love you, and I love your
Love you too,
family.
Andre.
You stay safe. This is really
You
fun,
too. Be
and
well. Good to
uh,
connect.
we'll talk soon.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
Take
Good,
care.
Tracy. And
Bye. You bet.
bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Thank